For every organ donated and each transplant received, there's a story of an amazing person behind it. To Susan Hassett, that person was her brother.
Seth was not only my brother, but he was my best friend. So he was a great guy. He had a fabulous sense of humor. He loved music.
Susan's brother was diagnosed with heart disease and died while waiting for a transplant. As Seth was fighting for his life, Susan found she too inherited the disease.
It causes heart failure, which I am in, and it also causes arrhythmias. And I have a defibrillator in my chest to prevent that fatal arrhythmia.
For Jean Mask and Bill Rutherford, both Vietnam vets, they contracted hepatitis C in the war and were both dying from liver failure. Jean had just hours left to live when he was given surprising news by his doctor.
You might make it to the weekend, but an organ just became available and we can transplant you tonight. Well, the choice was fairly easy. You know, the one thing that went through my mind was I always wanted to know when I was going to die, you know, so that I could either do all the things that I wanted to do in my life or make up for all the things that I had done. But here I was in a bed.
Bill, meanwhile, was unsure of his decision for transplant, but had one important thing to do before he decided.
I was going to go see all my family. So I hopped on my Harley and I took off, rode all the way back to the East Coast and stopped and saw all my family and told them goodbye because I didn't think I was going to make it, and told them all I had liver cancer and, you know, I was pretty much done.
Bill chose transplant, and both he and Jean are tireless advocates for organ donation today. Rob Ayers was diagnosed with liver failure during a routine physical and became increasingly sick in a short period of time.
I remember having to walk out in a parking lot like at a Target and having to rest in the parking lot before you could get to your car, and then you'd rest before you could drive away.
The timing of his illness could not have been worse, with a new baby just days old.
So the day I brought mom and baby home from the hospital, I went into the hospital. It was scary. It was, we were first-time parents. I wanted to be there to care for my wife after the C-section and be a good dad and be around for this 3-day-old girl, and I couldn't because I was in the hospital.
Rob received a new liver and is now looking forward to celebrating his transplant anniversary with the birth of his second child. Transplants, however, would not be possible without a selfless gift from a donor. Leslie Cofield's family included an energetic, baseball-loving son.
Brian was my second child. He was my, as we call, my surprise baby. He came to me after we'd adopted my older son from Korea, and literally 9 months, 5 days from the time we picked up Colin at the airport, he was there. So it was really exciting. It was one of those, I call them the miracle that they said would never happen, so I was really thrilled.
7 years later, the Cofields family was changed in just moments while Brian was visiting a local rec center.
That day they were supposed to be remodeling a bathroom and they were going to be laying a linoleum floor. And the workers quit early and they left a very large roll of linoleum that was wrapped around a very big pipe standing up in the hall. And Brian, with his little baseball hat, put it up on top of the roll. And so when they were getting ready to leave, he went to reach for it. When he reached for it, the linoleum fell. And unfortunately, he fell underneath the roll and it was a concrete floor, so he suffered an extremely serious head injury.
In Brian's death, the decision to donate his heart valves and corneas has brought great comfort to Leslie.
I think, first of all, that it was very important for me to be able to make a decision based on what I felt was a very good choice. His brother had a little Cub Scout meeting. I was doing a talk and talking about organ and tissue donation to the Cub Scouts, and Colin really, I mean, this was unbelievable. He raised his hand and he said, "Well, that must mean the person that got Brian's eyes, he must absolutely see the world then through Brian's eyes."
With each transplant is the fear of the unknown, but Rob and Bill say the outcome revealed new lives for them.
You're scared to death. I mean, you want to be a dad. You want to be around to teach her how to tie her shoes and talk her out of a tattoo and beat up on her boyfriend and grill, you know, all the boys that come by. And I had a 3-day-old girl and I was in the hospital, you know, in the ICU, and that's not a position anybody wants to be in. And, you know, transplant gave me a second chance.
What am I most grateful for? Today, You know, every day since the 10th of February 2006 has been a gift.
Oregon's new online donor registry is designed to make sure your wishes to donate are carried out, giving many the chance to live a full life. And hope for a new heart comes easily.
The registry gives me great optimism that if we spread the word and get people to take action and sign up on the registry, that when and if I need an organ, a heart transplant, there will be an organ available for me, and I can live where my brother did not.
Dreams are realized because of an amazing gift.
You know, this year was a really, really good year for me. I got to stand with my stepson and be the best man at his wedding. I got to turn 60 years old. All those things would have never been possible without my donor.
And the ultimate act of giving shows us what living is all about.
I've never ever had any regrets, and I always feel very fortunate that we were able to do that. And it's just so important for people to know that, you know, despite the fact that I didn't think life should go on, it does. And, you know, that was his way of giving back, and that's my way of really memorializing him and making sure that he's not forgotten.